to talk about these EV tariffs and the far-reaching impacts. We're joined by Andy Mok. Andy's a senior research fellow at the Center for China and Globalization. Andy, always good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely, Sean.
Okay, let's talk about these Canadian tariffs against China. In essence, mirroring what the United States has done. And I guess in many ways, no accident, the United States and Canada frequently work close together, but 100% on EVs, also 25% on aluminum. Kind of break down what you think is at stake.
Sure. Well, Sean, I think that if we look at the U.S.-Canada auto market, very highly integrated, Canada in and of itself is about 2 million units a year compared to the 16 million in the U.S. And then if we zoom out, this really is a tale of two tariff regimes, and that we'll talk more about the European one. But I think if we put the U.S. and Canada tariffs together, I think I would largely see it as a futile and self-defeating gesture of defiance, meaning that Chinese EVs technologically, cost-wise, design-wise, really are world-class. And there's little argument around the world that a move towards a sustainable future from an environmental perspective is vitally important. Also, these industries are really susceptible to scale, meaning that you have to manufacture in large volumes to be cost competitive. So I say this is a futile gesture of defiance in that the rationale, at least for the U.S., is so that it can promote its own electric vehicle industry. But I think that train has left the station. And again, most analysts say that it's unlikely that any efforts by the U.S. can catch up to China's in terms of scale as well as technology leadership.
Yeah, and you talked about the large production. Now that's important because in terms of the U.S. tariffs, the Canadian tariffs against China, the allegations are China is deliberately overproducing and that its government is bolstering its key sectors, EV, solar, and such. China is denying the allegations and pushing back as hard as it can against the sanctions, saying that basically this could really harm the global economy. I want you to pick up on that. Just talk about how once one domino falls, it tends to affect all of them. And also what you said about the quality of Chinese vehicles, because for people who haven't been to China and seen the sheer number of really quality EVs all over the roads, and then you come here to the United States and there's pushback at every corner, it's really two different worlds.
It absolutely is, Sean. Well, I do agree that supply chains in the automotive sector are to a degree globally integrated. But I think the risk that even though the U.S. Is an enormous market, 16 million units, that it risks being cut off from the main stream of technological innovation. So you mentioned the quality of Chinese electric vehicles. It's not only that they're cost competitive, technologically advanced, especially with the batteries, but build quality design as well. People that have seen them, including some of the top executives of major American automotive companies like the CEO of Ford, Jim Farley, really have been amazed that how advanced, how high quality, and how cost competitive these EVs are. And I think this recognition is starting to trickle through to other parts of the United States, and more consumers, I think, will start to voice objections to not being able to have environmentally friendly, safe, well-designed, cost-effective electric vehicles.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, explain what the EU has done, is doing regarding China, and its expectations for a vote that's planned later on in this week.
Well, I think, again, go back to this idea. This really is a tale of two tariff regimes. The U.S. and Canada, I think, are really not interested in recognizing these realities. But the Europeans, I think, are expressing a genuine concern, but at the same time, also expressing a sincere desire for a modus vivendi. How can they coexist cooperatively and in a mutually beneficial way, recognizing that China is a technology leader and increasingly a design leader in the automotive sector, which has long been a cornerstone of European prosperity. So I would say that we should not underestimate the challenges faced by Europe, but at the same time, I think there is room for optimism in that there is a genuine desire to work with the Chinese and not engage, again, in what I would term as futile gestures of defiance. So also, I think we also need to recognize that the process by which these decisions are reached in Europe are different from those in the United States, and I think this provides more space for a reasonable outcome.